Good morning. I'm Steve Rosansky, President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to our July edition of our Government Affairs Committee meeting. Got a great speaker this morning, a friend of mine that goes back to his last posting over at OCTA, Jeff Bott. Alberto is going to introduce him in just a second. I just want to again welcome you all back. We're excited here at the Chamber. This is really the last on Zoom meeting that we're doing, or one of our committees or groups, regular meetings that we're still doing on Zoom. Everything else is back in person. We've had some great mixers. We've had a great networking lunch. We got some major civic events coming up in September and October that I'll probably tell you about at the end of this program. After Jeff's done, he's going to talk about what's happening at the TCA, and then we're going to have some updates from our local legislative representatives representing both, hopefully, the Assembly, Senate, the Supervisor's office, and the Congresswoman's office. So I'll just conclude before I turn it over to Alberto that Jeff's going to be here. He's going to give his talk, and then I'll be here for Q&A at the end. If you have a question while Jeff is making his presentation, you think of one, please type it into the Q&A box and we'll be happy to answer all of them when he's concluded his initial presentation. So with that being said, Alberto, why don't you take it away and introduce our speaker today.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is a timely topic because we're all hitting the roads again. We're getting out and about. So it's very timely to have Jeff join us this morning. So let me introduce you, Jeff. Welcome. Jeff Bott is the Senior Public Affairs Advisor for the Transportation Corridors Agency, TCA, the public agency that built and operates the 73, 133, 241, and 261 toll roads. He's responsible for communicating to the public about the agency's projects and initiatives. Jeff graduated from Cal State Fullerton, fellow Titan here, Jeff, with a degree in communications. So welcome, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alberto, and thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here today and give you an update on the toll roads. Well, we've certainly been through a lot since COVID happened in March of last year. As you can imagine, our roads are a little bit different than they are back east, where all they have are toll roads. That's the only choice you have. Our toll roads parallel the freeways, and drivers choose to use the toll roads. That's typically not an issue, as these freeways are typically some of the worst congested freeways in the nation, and suddenly there's no traffic on them. So our competition is literally the freeways, and those are empty. So we lost about 75% of our traffic when COVID happened. So I'll talk about what's happened since then, some of the projects we're working on. Also want to discuss some closure we had on the 241 South completion projects, which has been studied for nearly 40 years. After 39 years of study, that finally reached a conclusion in March of last year. And I'll talk about all that happened there. And I'll share my screen here. Everybody can see that, okay. Just a little bit of history of the toll roads before I talk about what we're working on. Our toll roads in Orange County do comprise 20% of the Orange County's major highway system. That's pretty significant. You might be surprised to learn that the 241 and the 73 were actually planned by the County of Orange in 1981 to address current and future traffic congestion. A lot of development going on at the time, new cities coming online, Rancho Santa Margarita, Coto de Caza, Aliso Viejo, Laguna Niguel, Talega, and San Clemente. We were losing our reputation as a bedroom community. We were commuting out of Orange County to jobs in LA, to staying in Orange County, working here. A lot of people in San Diego, Orange County, LA, and Inland Empire were commuting to Los Angeles to work here. And our elected officials knew at the time that if we didn't do something, we'd be in an absolute parking lot with all that was going on. We were 2 million people in Orange County in 1981. The projections show that another million were coming over the next 20 years. And now, as you know, there's about 3.3 million people in Orange County. So just imagine what the county would look like had the 73 and the 241 not been built. At the time, though, there was no federal funding or state funding to build the roads as freeways. There just wasn't any funding available. You remember Governor Brown years and years ago had said the era of California freeway building is over. Just weren't the funds to do that. Our elected officials in Orange County, we're used to being a donor county in Orange County. We get about 5 cents back on our tax dollars. We just don't get our fair share back. So we're kind of used to taking care of ourselves. So our elected officials at the time said, we've got to do something, or we'll be in absolute gridlock in 20 years if we don't build additional routes to accommodate this exploding growth we have. So what about tolling as a way? It was kind of an experiment, actually, because all the toll roads were back east. California was the land of freeways. Would drivers in California be willing to pay a toll with so many freeways around there? They really weren't sure. It was quite the experiment. But it was a plan B to build needed infrastructure when traditional resources weren't available. So they worked with the California State Legislature, got authority to build the roads as toll roads, created the TCA, gave them the authority to issue debt, collect tolls to pay off the bonds, to build the roads, with the tolls going back to pay off the bonds. Also, developers in the area agreed to development impact fees to help their share of the infrastructure to support their developments, so the people who lived in these new communities would have roadways to get to and from their homes. Another good thing about our toll roads is it's local control. The toll roads are not managed by California or Caltrans, they are managed locally. Each city that belongs to the TCA is a city along the toll road route with an elected official on the toll road board. So all decisions made about projects and the tolling is all done by our elected officials. Newport Beach, you have William O'Neill. He is actually the vice chairman of the board for the 73 toll road right now. He represents Newport Beach. We have 2 separate boards of directors, one that oversees the 73 and one that oversees the 241, and 1 single staff. Another interesting item that a lot of people don't know about, they think that the roads go to Caltrans when they're paid off, which is about 2048, 2050. When indeed the toll roads are actually transferred to the state the day they open to traffic and become part of the state highway system. So right now, the toll roads are part of the state highway system and belong to Caltrans, which is why you see Caltrans maintaining the toll roads and not TCA, because they are state routes. I kind of call them mortgaged highways. They do belong to the state, but they have monthly payments to be made to pay them off. So here we are all these years later. TCA was formed in 1986. It was an experiment to see if people would take toll roads or not. Apparently people do like to take the toll roads. We have almost 2 million in fast track accounts now, 30,000 alone in Newport Beach. We developed the fast track technology, which is the premier technology used throughout the state now, from Golden Gate Bridge all the way down to the SR 125 and 15 toll lanes in Los Angeles. Prior to COVID, we were getting about 330 to 350,000 trips a day on the toll roads. That's traffic that's taken off local roads and freeways. We were averaging about 1,000 daily signups to the toll roads. And even now, nearing the end of COVID, we were getting 700 to 800 signups a day on the toll roads. And as I mentioned earlier, they're built adjacent to the freeways. You don't have to take the toll roads, it's a choice. Even those that don't take the toll roads benefit from the 350,000 who do. And I certainly appreciate the choice. There's been many times I'm coming up to 5, trying to get to Irvine, Mission Viejo. I see a choke point at Avery Parkway, and it's just nice to have that split-second decision to hop on the 73 and take it over to Laguna Canyon area and go into Irvine that way. Our finances are strong. We have about $1 billion in reserves, an A- credit rating right now, and we're at the point where we're funding capital improvement projects with cash on hand rather than issuing new debt. We stayed strong throughout COVID, even though we lost 75% of our traffic, and that's due in part a lot to the strong leadership from our elected officials that serve on the board. When we built the toll roads back in the 90s, our elected officials really wanted a commitment to take care of the environment when we did that. Building 51 miles of a planned 67-mile toll road system, a beautiful area that people love and enjoy. Part of the great thing about living in Orange County is our natural surrounding open space and just great hiking trails and just wonderful spots. And they wanted to make sure that we built the toll roads environmentally sensitive. So when we built the roads, we set aside nearly 2,000 acres of protected habitat at 17 Orange County locations. Along the 73, you've probably seen the Bonita Creek, which was once a concrete channel. And now it's a thriving wetland, home to the endangered gnatcatcher, and then it's just beautiful out there. We restored an entire wetland out there. Right now, we're doing an environmental experiment out at one of our environmental sites by Cook's Corner out in Trabuco Canyon, where we're letting cattle graze the land and eat all the vegetation that's covered up the native habitat there, because they don't eat the good stuff, they eat the weeds and stuff like that, rather than using pesticides and non-natural stuff. And that's going pretty good out there. It's been kind of fun to, who'd have ever thought the TCA would get into the cattle grazing business. COVID impacts, as I mentioned, we lost 75% of our traffic in March here. We knew we had to do something right away because it's a significant loss. And, you know, we're, like I said, these are mortgaged highways. We have monthly payments to make every month. About $100 million a year in bond repayments. So our boards got together immediately and we passed a very conservative budget for fiscal year 21, shaved $77 million off of our budget, which represents a 51% in savings. We put some of our projects on hold, let most of our consultants go, brought more work in-house with just among staff. We don't have a very big small staff for a government agency. We're managing the state's largest network of toll roads. We only have about 66 staff at TCA. I also wanted to mention, we paid off our unfunded pension liability as well. And it's not often you hear of a government entity that pays off their pension liability early. So we began to see traffic impacts dropping second week of March. We lost quite a bit on the toll roads, 64 on 241, 75% on the 73. But right now it's really coming back. About a year and a few months later, we're 95% back of our original traffic on the 241 and about 85% of original pre-COVID traffic on the 73. So thank goodness for that. Recent and current projects, if you have been to Oso Parkway at the end of 241, where it's ended for many, many years at Mission Viejo, we built the Oso Parkway Bridge project in coordination with Caltrans and the County of Orange, which connects to a brand new road out there called Los Bertones Parkway, which serves the new Rancho Mission Viejo development, which is a development that's building 14,000 homes and 5 million square feet of commercial space out in that area, right up above Ortega Highway. So the 241 goes underneath Oso Parkway, connects to Los Bertones Parkway, which is a free road, and you can take that all the way down to Cal Camp, which is right above the 74. It's a nice 5-mile free road there. So you really have a nice alternative to the 5 if you're trying to get to South County. We're also doing system-wide signage improvements. You'll probably notice all the signs on the toll roads are easier to read now. They used to be quite complicated, I thought, because it's a fast track, express account. People weren't sure which one to take. Is this a truck lane? Is this a car lane? Now it's just all purple signs that say fast track. If you don't have account, pay online. Very, very simple. Right now we're planning to install channelizers on the 241 up at Windy Ridge, where we merge onto the 91. If any of you have been in that wonderful traffic on an afternoon, you'll see it piles up there quite a bit. Up to the ridge line, and people try to cut in line there, queue jump. We're going to put up those channelizers there, which are large traffic cones, so people can't jump and cut in line anymore. It's also a safety issue. What's going on in the 73 right now? You've probably seen lots of piles of dirt at the entrance there to the 241. That's not a TCA project. There's Caltrans safety improvement projects that should wrap up around mid-20 to 2022. 73 in MacArthur, Caltrans is widening the off-ramp by 1 lane there, including widening your bridge, and that should be done by December. What we have planned on future 73 is we're going to add an additional lane through the Catalina View mainline toll point. So there'll be 4 main lines and 1 truck climbing lane to relieve congestion experienced during the morning and afternoon peak periods. That'll wrap up around 2030, 2035. And that was actually a project that was going to be built sooner, but we postponed it when COVID happened, because we wanted to make sure we had the funds to construct this without issuing new debt. It's going to be about a $37 million project that we'll fund through cash reserves. I mentioned that traffic pile up on the 241-91 merge point there. That's been something that we hear from drivers for many, many years, because the 91 is one of the most congested freeways in the nation. You're taking the 241, you've paid the toll, And then you're waiting an extra 40 minutes just to merge onto the 241 around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're working with the Orange County Transportation Authority and Caltrans to construct a dedicated express lane from the median of the 241 that will fly over the 91 freeway and merge into the 91 express lanes. And they go clear out to the freeway. That's part of a $600 million transportation improvement package that we're working on with OCTA and Riverside Transportation Authority. Those projects are all underway right now. Riverside is completing their towed lanes on 15 North. Right now, they're mostly 15 South. So when you get to the end of the 240, when you get to the end of the 15, you want to go north, you have to get off at McKinley, which is terrible, and then get back onto the 15 North. And this will go right onto the 50 North express lanes. OCTA is constructing a freeway lane from Green River Drive to the 241, and they're also going to improve the SR 9171 connector. Our project will start construction in about 2023 and open to 2025, $250 million project that we're also going to pay for with cash on hand and not issue new debt over. And that'll create another optional choice if you need to get somewhere to bypass that huge queue that piles up there and get right into the 91 express lane. So you can literally take toll roads from South Orange County all the way to around Hamner or Norco area if you need to get somewhere. No idea what it would cost. I know it's not going to be cheap, but it's something that you'll have as a choice. Now the fun part, completing the 241 South. Many of you have followed this very challenging project for the past several years. It's been on the county's map since 1981. I completed 241 state route. For many years, it was on the maps to go through Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton and connect to I-5 south of San Clemente at Christianitos, Basilone Road area. You know, the I-5 is a very critical corridor there, not just for commuters, but it's goods movement, tourism, one way in, one way out. It is an area with wildfire evacuations occasionally that you see in Oceanside, Vista, Carlsbad area. I'm sure we've all seen the weekend traffic down there. Southbound on a Thursday or Friday afternoon is horrendous. Parking lot. Northbound coming home Sunday night, parking lot. We've all seen what happens when there's an accident or an overturned truck or something. One little incident can tie up that 5 for an hour, for hours. Cranes have overturned, semi-trucks have overturned, and people have nowhere to go for hours. So this would have provided a critical alternative to Interstate 5. People could take that whenever something happened, or if there was just terrible traffic. Very challenging project because you're going through a Marine base, and the Marines were great partners. They do take encroachment very seriously on the base. You know, they're 125,000 acres. The only West Coast amphibious training facility the nation has. They take encroachment very seriously. They already have people on their land. They had leased for many years to the nuclear generating plant down there, the San Onofre State Park system. 1/3 of the base is off limits due to environmental restrictions. So they're very cautious as to who they let encroach on their land. So they said, well, we're going to be neutral, but if you put a toll road on our base, we need it to be far north as possible and not impact our training mission. So that goes way back to, I think, the late 80s or early 90s. We said, of course, we will absolutely oblige that and put the toll road exactly where you'd like it to be, which is the dotted line there. However, that was not okay with the environmental groups. That one route that was okay with Pendleton. That's where a lot of the surfers park across from Carl's Jr. there to hike underneath the Interstate 5 columns there to get to Trestles. That area is leased to the San Onofre State Park system, which was created in 1971 between Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan, which established the state park, San Onofre. And even though that leasehold included the ability to build infrastructure in the leasehold, such as roads, utilities, and other infrastructure, environmental groups saw that as a road through a state park. Even though it's an active training base adjacent to a freeway, a nuclear generating station, a truckway station, an immigration checkpoint, they just did not want a road there, and the surfers did not want that flyover there to connect to I-5 there. Many surfers felt that the construction would impact the surf there at Trestles. We hired a surf rider who's a coastal engineer. He determined there would be no impact to trestles whatsoever, and we were going to clean up the runoff along that area that's currently not treated there. We got about 90% of our permits. The Governor Schwarzenegger at the time supported the project. His brother-in-law, Bobby Shriver, did not. So I always joke that our little toll road project caused a rift in the Kennedy family. We got to the Coastal Commission right in 2007, 2008, and they denied the last permit we needed to construct the Foothill South green alignment. We've got all the other ones from the Fish and Wildlife, Army Corps, and EPA, and did not get that Coastal Commission permit. So we took a step back, went out to the public and said, we can't do the Pendleton alignment. It was really restrictive down there because there's just so many places you can put it. What should we do? Should we give up? Should we call it a day? And a lot of the public said, you can't give up. We still have only one way in and one way out of there. Something needs to be done. Weekend traffic's horrendous. It's a safety issue because there's nowhere to go when an incident happens. So we started the environmental process all over again. Did lots of meetings, focus groups, and said we threw up maps on the wall and said, can't do Pendleton. What else do you think we should do? We did that for about 3 years. People told us if you don't settle with the environmental groups and work with them throughout this new process, they're probably just going to sue you and stop you at the end of this new process. So why not work with the environmental groups at the beginning rather at the end so that you don't waste your time and money when you come up with a project? So we did that, settled with all the environmental groups, created an endowment to in that San Onofre area, about $28 million for any project we come up with to protect the environment down there. And we paid off all their lawsuits that they had with us, about $7 million. And in turn, they agreed not to sue or oppose any alternative we came up with down there. So we had some type of guarantee moving forward with the project. So after about 3 years of study and several alignments and routes being studied, really all that was left to complete the 249 was to put a road through the open space of San Clemente, tuck it beneath the ridge lines, try to cover it up from the residents as much as possible. But that was very, very challenging with San Clemente. They didn't like any of those ideas at all. And and we that's what we do public engagement for, is to listen to people and their concerns. So our board, literally a week before COVID happened, finally concluded this study of this project. It's been studied since '81, and determined that there would be no 241 completion project at all. Just too challenging. Couldn't go through Pendleton. San Clemente was adamantly opposed to any routes through their city. So we determined to study 3 additional projects that also provide significant traffic relief down there for the next several decades. That would be continue this new road of Los Patrones from Ortega Highway to Avenida La Plata in San Clemente over the ridgeline in Talega, shortly before that target there at Vista Hermosa. They're going to add an additional lane at the Ortega Highway where it goes from 2 lanes to 1, that choke point through Riata. They'll do that in the next few years. And then the Orange County Transportation Authority will continue the carpool lane from Pico, that just opened a few years ago, all the way to the San Diego County line, which will match up with the tolled express lanes that San Diego is planning to construct. Right now, they're doing San Diego to Oceanside, and then a couple of decades from now, Oceanside to San Clemente. And so those carpool lanes will match up with that. So no 241 completion, but 3 other projects toll-free that will get you significant traffic relief. You will not have a direct alternative to I-5 when an incident happens. You would have to get off at Pico or Hermosa to access Los Patrones to get onto the 241, but better than nothing at all. I know I covered an incredible amount of information, but happy to take your questions.
Okay, welcome back. So yeah, that was a lot of good information there, and you're, I guess, kind of brave, I think, to talk about that toll road alignment down in South County. I know.
Well, I was telling Alberto before we started the meeting, everybody loves the idea of infrastructure. That's probably the one thing that both parties agree on in DC at a macro level. But you get on a micro level and nobody wants it near them. That's the big challenge of infrastructure, is where to put it. Because the environmental groups really like nothing in the open space. And, that's understandable. We don't have a lot of open space left in Orange County. And residents, homeowners don't want it anywhere near them. They have this house, they don't want to hear it, see it, smell it. And so that's the challenge of where do you put it?
So the burning question on everybody's lips is, do you get to drive on the toll road for free?
No, no, not at all. It's a government agency, bonds to be paid off. So as employees, we pay full price just like anybody else. So I make that decision when I'm taking. I go to Costa Mesa all the time to my chiropractor, and I'm like, well, do I want to take the toll road going there or coming back?
So and let me just remind our audience, if you do have any questions, please type them into the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to pass them off here to Jeff.
Thanks, Steve. I feel like Rush Hill again with you cutting me off. So
that's my job.
That's for you, Rush, if you're on. Jeff, you went from this hard case transponders to the stickers. Can you talk a little about that transition?
So I don't know if you remember what the original fast track transponder looked like. Steve probably does. It was a little black box that sat on the dashboard of your car, and you had to put a little key card into it, went through it before you took the toll. I mean, that doesn't even sound safe.
Yeah. I don't think I have one of those. Yeah.
Technology, and that was back when the first stretch of the 241 opened in 1993, which was 3 miles out in Foothill Ranch, and that's what the transponder looked like. Little dashboard, stick a card in, supposedly before you even start driving, then pull it out when you're done at the end of the trip, and that's how they charged it. Then we moved to the hard case transponder, which beeped every time you went through a toll plaza. And then other toll roads and lanes and bridges started opening up around California. Nobody has any money anymore, so tolling has become the new thing in California. So they wanted to make sure it was interoperable. So we worked with the 91 Express lanes, the Bay Area and San Diego to make sure that Fast Track is interoperable, so people can use that transponder wherever they want. And then the hard case transponders were about $25, $30. They were not cheap because there's some software in there and technology and everything. Just trying to always constantly improve the technology. So they developed this little sticker that just has a little radio transmitter in it. So that talks to the gantry above. It doesn't beep anymore. But I think the intention with the sticker transponder, it's not just smaller and better technology, but I think the goal is to eventually have nationwide tolling with the sticker. Think of a truck driver. He's probably got 6 or 7 different transponders from Chicago, New York, and California. And so I think the eventual goal of the sticker is nationwide tolling.
Do the transponders still, I still have my transponders. I put the stickers in the window, but do the transponders still work, or they don't work anymore?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the transponders still work. They still beep if you have them. Just, the sticker, I guess you could say it looks better because it's so tiny, but yeah, they still work.
Start rummaging in your glove box there to get the
thing
out. As you're approaching the thing, freaking out that I can't find it.
And there's batteries. There's batteries in the hard case. Eventually, those are going to wear out.
So can you just throw them away now at this point, or do they have to be returned?
Yeah, we ask the people and throw them away in an environmentally sensitive manner because there is a battery in there, disposed like you would batteries or anything else. Or you could keep it as a keepsake for old technology.
It used to be that you guys would charge every month for like a $5 per.
Yeah, we did. When we introduced the hard case transponder, I think we realized that people didn't realize that they were $20 or $30 each, and people were ordering 3 or 4 or 5 of them, weren't getting used. They put it on a car they only used occasionally, would sit in the garage. It's like, wow, we're really giving out lots of money here with free transponders. So we established a system where if you have Fast Track, the hard case transponder, if you spend $25 a month in tolls, there's no monthly fee. And that provide a little incentive to get some value out of that transponder, not just keep ordering free ones. And then if you didn't use $25 a month in tolls, it was a $2 monthly fee. Not bad. A lot of people paid that. But these sticker transponders, I think they're 50 cents. So we just waived the monthly fee entirely.
Yeah, a lot better. Certainly a lot cheaper, makes it, and you just have that little sticker there. You put them on all your cars. Not have to worry about it.
We got a question in there?
Yeah, you want to grab that, Alberto, from your buddy Rush Hill?
Yeah, so
I think
Rush is paying
Rush
attention.
was on our board.
So he asks, what is the current payoff date for the bonds? And do you really believe the roads will become free once the bonds are paid off?
So here's the thing with the toll roads. As I mentioned earlier, TCA is a government agency. We built them, financed, operate them, but on the opening day, we deed them to Caltrans. They're part of the state highway system. So Caltrans literally owns the toll roads. TCA just manages them, I guess you could say, and collects the bonds to pay off the debt. It's always been our intention to pay off that debt, but it's out of our hands. That decision would be a Caltrans decision. Current payoff for the bonds is about 2052, I think, for the 73. It'll be made by Caltrans at the time. You know, in California, they're always looking for revenue sources. So if the toll roads are making about $1 million a day, would Caltrans let that type of a funding source go? Would they use that for other transportation projects throughout the state, or would they let them go free? Maybe with enough public involvement. Maybe there's a scenario where a lane or two goes free and then they toll the other lane or two. Who knows? It'll be a Caltrans decision.
We have another question here from Thad Howard. He wants to know if the toll roads are patrolled by the CHP as often and as vigorously as they are on the freeways. So what's the connection? Well, obviously they patrol.
They're patrolled just like they would any other state highway, but they're also looking for cars that have no license plate, because you get a new car. The only way we can charge a toll is if the transponder goes off, and if it doesn't, we take a picture of the license plate. And if we don't have either of those, it's no different than shoplifting. You're using a service for free. So CHP helps us out with that. But I know there's been times I've been on the toll roads and don't see any CHP, and there's times where I've seen 2 or 3 of them. So I don't know what their system is, but they're definitely out there. But it's a little bit different on our roads because they have 2 missions: the speeding and also the catching the people who don't want to pay the toll.
So if I might, UCI sits right off the 73. We've got many students coming in from all across Orange County and some from the Inland Empire. So are there any discounts or student discounts that are available to folks?
We decided, since they're mortgaged highways and there's debt there and then they need to be paid off, there's so many ways to do discounts and stuff like that. We just decided to do a universal discount for everyone. So before, with the hard case transponder, it was $25 a month, no monthly fee. And if you spend $25 a month, every toll is discounted $1. So we did away with the hard case transponder fee. Now we have the sticker. So there's no more $2 fee, but now it's if you spend $40 a month in tolls, the next month, all your tolls are reduced $1. So it's a universal discount. And it's really not hard to get up to $40 each month to get that discount in the next month. So that's working quite well.
So speaking of the tolls, and I guess my understanding of it is the tolls are set based on the how much the road is used at any particular time in the day. So, and they're reset like every 3 months. Is that what it is? So,
no, they look at our fiscal year is every July. So we do traffic and revenue studies all the time. And traditionally, we've been doing about a 2% toll increase every July. We did not do one for fiscal year 2021 because of COVID. We just started a new one July 1st with a 2% increase. And that's largely so we don't have huge toll increases all at once. If we just do a gradual 2% cost of living every year, then that seems to be working.
So it's not based on some formula of how many cars are actually using the road.
No, the formula is, we have to guarantee free-flowing traffic, value to the customers, and also get as much revenue as possible to pay off the bonds. So that's the formula there. And the very complex formula is done by trying to think. Stantec, I think, is the firm that does the traffic and revenue studies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I was going to get to is that during COVID times, obviously, as you already said, traffic was off 75%. And I'm sure it was off 75% on the regular freeway as well, maybe even more. But it would seem that there wouldn't be much incentive to take the toll road if the 91 freeway was open. Why pay the toll, and that the tolls would have dropped during COVID times, but that wasn't the case.
No, we lost 75, and that bottomed out. I'm going to say late April that bottomed out, and then after April it started gradually coming back again. If you remember, Steve, what was it, summer, fall, we actually opened up again, if you remember that. And traffic really started spiking again, and then COVID cases started happening again, and we shut down again. And they steadily came back every month since then, and now we're almost back at 100%.
Okay.
So Rush had a follow-up question there in terms of losing your sticker. I'm hoping he hasn't lost his car that's attached to that sticker.
That happens to him frequently. Loses, forgets where he parks it. Yeah.
Now, Rush, if I recall, was a board member on the 73 toll road, I think early mid 2000s, if I recall.
So what does one do if you lose your sticker?
Well, you can't really lose your sticker because it's affixed to the window. What you do need to remember is if you get rid of that car or turn it in, you got to peel that sticker off, because as soon as you peel it off, it breaks it. So nobody can ever use it again. You can't move it from car to car like you can your hard case transponder. It's once it's peeled off, it doesn't work anymore. The little wire breaks. But if you order a sticker in the mail and you lose that before you get to put it on your car, you would just simply call us or email us and notify us that you lost it, and we'll send you a new one. So, because it doesn't activate until it's on your window and gets read for the first time.
All right, we'll get you Rush's address and
really
get one over to him.
He was chairman of the board for 2 years, and 2 during refinance. Yeah, I knew he was there during a crucial time. So, chairman of the board for the San Joaquin 73 Toll Road Agency.
So Alexander Kim here wants to know, are the stickers available at the AAA offices like when you got the old hard cases before?
I'm not sure if they're available at AAA anymore, but they've always been available at Costco in the little clamshell cases where you buy Disneyland tickets and stuff like that. You can get them at Costco, and then you just fill out the information online when you get home and start working right away. Other than that, you just go to the tollroads.com and order a transponder that way. About 2 or 3 days later.
Okay. And Thad has another question. Given the environmental protections and agreements made with these groups, is there a ban on roadside gas and eateries you often see on Interstate 5 in the Central Valley? So are you planning on putting any like Chick-fil-A's along the 73 freeway?
People actually bring that up to me all the time. Why don't we see Tesla charging stations or Starbucks or places or rest stops or something like that? But people have paid a toll to get somewhere faster. Would really people pay $7 or $8 on the 73 only to pull over at the Catalina View and get a latte? I don't know. But as far as the environmental groups, our agreement with them was just exclusive to that San Clemente area and that project area, which was to stay out of the Camp Pendleton area. No other agreements made as far as roadside or stuff like that or other environmental issues. It was just strictly stay out of the Camp Pendleton area, and we won't sue or stop any other projects outside of that. The reason for that was that Camp Pendleton area there, if you're familiar with it, right across from the Carlos Jr. area, that former agriculture area, that's all the 85,000 acre San Mateo watershed. So that's what was critical to the environmental growth. Even though it's Pendleton, that is a watershed there, and that's what's in that Trestles area where the Interstate 5 columns are.
I've got another question. You mentioned those 3 projects at the end of your presentation that would serve as alternatives, I guess, to the extension of the freeway down to the 5. So, but they're all free, right? They're not. You're not tolling those. So, what's the incentive of the TCA to build free stuff? I mean, if they're not, to use TCA funds, or maybe you're not using TCA funds.
That's a great question. I should have cleared that up better. So our board voted in March of last year to not extend the 241 and to advance the study of those 3 other projects. So that means that we will not be built, TCA will not be the ones building those. So Orange County Transportation Authority, OCTA, they'll do the carpool lane from Pico to the San Diego line. Same with the Ortega widening, that'll be done also probably Caltrans, Orange County Public Works. Orange County Public Works will also do the extension of Los Patronos Parkway. It's about a $330 million project that can be built in 7 years. So it'll be different entities that build those. The only way TCA might get involved is maybe a potential funding source.
Got it.
Yes, those 3 projects will all be undertaken by other entities.
Alberto?
Good question.
Thank you.
So what do you envision in terms of traffic? You said earlier 95% is back. Do you anticipate going over what was previous, or are we looking at better traffic conditions now that some of us are working remotely?
Yeah, we're going to monitor traffic daily as that, because COVID changed everyone's world. You're looking at so many different scenarios now where there'll be hybrid solutions for people. 2 days at home, 3 days at the office, every day at home, no more office, or some people going back to the office full time. We'll just monitor the new trends and adjust as we need to. And we're doing some refinancing and refunding on the 241 bonds right now. And that's not going to extend the payoff date for the 241. But our funding right now, every refinancing we've done has some built-in flexibility to weather these challenges. We've definitely learned over the years through prior funding that you've just got things out of your control. You've got recessions, you've got weather-related incidents, improvements that take traffic off the toll road and put them back on the freeway. So every time we've refinanced, we build in some flexibility with the payoff bonds. We've gotten to the point now where we have that flexibility and we have cash reserves and we don't issue debt to build new projects. So we monitor all that stuff very, very carefully to make sure that we maintain that financial strength.
Got another question here in the Q&A from Brad Timmons. Brad's with Ware Disposal.
I know Brad. I haven't seen him in a long time. Oh my gosh.
Is there a chance the toll road will ever connect with the 5 at San Onofre? I guess ever's a long time. I think you pretty much, I think your presentation, you said that it's not going to happen in the near future.
Yeah, that's an easy answer, because part of the agreement with the environmental groups is that TCA would never complete the 241 in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're almost out of time, but I'll ask one last question, and it's something that you hear a lot when people are talking about building roads and more freeways. We're in the midst of a huge project on the 405 freeway to widen that. I think there's at least some extra carpool lanes. Is there a toll lane there too as well, or?
Oh, the Orange County Transportation Authority is constructing toll lanes on the 405 from the 73 that will go all the way to the 605. They're supposed to open in 2023, and they'll be like the 91 express lanes. The toll will be according to how bad the traffic is out there. So that's on a regional level. OCTA is doing that.
So, but is that under TCA or not?
Nope, that's strictly an Orange County Transportation Authority project. So TCA operates 73, 133, 241, and 261 toll roads. The Orange County Transportation Authority, they operate the 91 express lanes, and they'll operate the 405 express lanes.
The same.
And they administer the Measure M2 funds to build local improvement projects through that.
Will the same sticker transponder work on the new toll lanes there?
Yeah, Fast Track is universal throughout the state. I mean, you can literally take it across the Golden Gate Bridge or Oakland Bay and use that.
So it gets to my last question, and it's what people say is that, hey, if you build more roads, we're gonna have more people, more homes will be built, and it's like you have more congestion, so they're going to build more roads. I mean, do you subscribe to that theory or not?
Well, I think we've learned in Southern California, people come whether you've built the infrastructure or not. I mean, just look at a lot of people that moved out to Corona, Norco, all that area. They know what that commute's going to be like on the 91 freeway, and they go out there anywhere. This is great. Anyway, this is a great place to live. And I would say that we have not kept up. Our infrastructure has not kept up with growth. You know, I think we're constantly playing catch up with our infrastructure. It's gotten to the point now where you can't build enough infrastructure to accommodate. You can only manage traffic. That's why you're seeing a lot of toll lanes, stuff like that. It's just so many. That's 3.3 million people right now. So.
Okay, well, that was a great overview of what's happening with the toll roads. We appreciate your time this morning.
My pleasure.
You're welcome to stick around and
I
hear
sure
the
will.
updates from our legislative reps. I'm going to bring up Andrew DiGiovanna first. He's represents Congresswoman Michelle Steele, so I'm going to promote him to a panelist, and he should be able to be seen. There he is. Good morning,
Great.
Andrew.
Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. Great to see you. I have a few exciting updates, I think, from the Congresswoman. I think everyone here would appreciate them. So four I'll outline, and I'll go over them briefly. But one is funding for sand replenishment. Two, the Fresh Air Act. Three, the repeal of SALT. And four, combating COVID unemployment fraud. So number one, and this is probably most relevant here, is funding for sand replenishment. Earlier this week, Michelle toured what's pretty much the most vulnerable area at Balboa Pier with Councilmember Dixon and public works officials, Dave Webb, Michael Martin, and a couple others. And so she was able to see that firsthand. And in Congress, she met one-on-one with members of the Appropriations Committee and submitted a direct funding request to House appropriators, stressing the importance of federal funding for the project. And that language has been included in the bill, the fiscal year 2022 Energy and Water Development, and for an amount of $15.5 million for Surfside Sunset Newport Beach, that project. So this is extremely exciting. There's still a process that it has to go through. We expect early August to be when the House votes on it, and then it would go to the Senate, and then the president would need to sign it. But it seems to be gaining enough bipartisan traction now that we're very hopeful for that and excited. So long overdue. In addition to that, I mentioned the Fresh Air Act. This is related to bipartisan economic recovery efforts. So to put that more simply, Michelle's been working with Representative Bordeaux from Georgia to provide tax credits to businesses who modernize their air ventilation systems. And that credit would be up to $15,000. Number three, the repeal of SALT. She's been working on this. She's co-sponsored two bills that would repeal SALT, one with her fellow Republican Congressman Mike Garcia through the SALT Fairness Act, and then one with Democrat Representative Suozzi from New York under the SALT Deductibility Act. And an important note on that is, and I don't think it's talked about enough really, is that CA 48 was responsible for nearly 20% of all SALT deductions in 2018. And the average deduction loss by us was a little over $28,000. So
I think that's probably more than $28,000.
Right.
More like $28 million or something. Yeah.
Right.
Or is that the average per person you're talking about? Average per taxpayer? Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
So that's a big deal. So she's working in bipartisan efforts for that as well. We need a legislation that will stick, that will address the issue. So it doesn't really matter who that's coming from.
Well, she's probably gonna have to get some of her Republican colleagues to go along with that, because they were the ones that kind of removed that as part of the, I think, payback for some of the larger Democratic states that where those deductions are taken. So
right. It's true. It's true. So, on top of that, though, I'll just add real briefly for number 4, combating COVID unemployment fraud. I think this is something I've mentioned in the past, but I just want to bring it back to everyone's minds is her support for HR 3268, the Combating COVID Unemployment Fraud Act of 2021. It's currently been referred to the House Committee on Ways and Means, and I will keep you updated on any changes in its status. But those are the 4 big ones, especially that first one I thought was most exciting. That was a development of this last week. So the timing couldn't have been better for this meeting.
Yeah, sand replenishment is always an important topic here in Newport Beach as the sand shifts up and down the coast. And, we pride ourselves on having beautiful wide beaches here. I know she lives up in the Surfside area, which has a very narrow beach and definitely is in need of sand replenishment on a regular basis. So glad to hear that she's working on those projects. So thank you for that update. We're going to move over to Avery Counts. Avery's here with us. Let me promote him to a panelist. And we're gonna get rid of, we're gonna remove Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. There we go. Hi, Avery, how are you doing?
Hey, Steve, I'm great. How are you? Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're on.
All right, great. So let me get updated or get started with an update from our office. Some exciting things we've been working on. We've got the Upper Newport Bay Amphitheater opened. We held a ribbon cutting that Mayor Avery joined us at, and as well as Senator Dave Min. It was a great time, and it's going to be a really, really amazing resource for the community. Going to be a great place for people to rest while hiking, for events to be held. So we're really excited about that.
Do you know how many people that'll hold?
It can hold. Let me think. I'd say 50 would be well within reason. It's open space, that kind of deal with standing room as well. But we got around, I'd say 40 folks there for the opening. So that was nice. And then I'm glad we're having this meeting today, excuse me, because tonight, 6 p.m. Check out at Supervisor Foley on Facebook. We're going to be doing a live stream. It is our 100 days town hall. You can ask questions, and we're going to be giving an update for all the cities on all the work that we've been doing here in Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Seal Beach, and then all the other cities in the district. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a Q&A, and we're really excited for it. So come see us, come see Supervisor Foley. And then we've got some other really exciting things in the works that I can't go too deep into yet, but stuff involving John Wayne Airport, as well as some other stuff in Newport Beach when it comes to, accessibility for folks with disabilities. So we're excited, and thank you for having us, Steve.
Oh, that was quick. Thank you, Avery. Good to see you. All right, next up will be Matt Kern. Matt's with State Senator Min's office, so bring him on board through the magic of Zoom.
There we go.
Good morning,
Hey,
Matt.
Good morning, Steve, Alberto. Thank you, Jeff, for the presentation about TCA. Just last week, a major budget bill signed. So this is sort of a numbers-heavy ledge update, but the senator is happy the budget went through. He believes it balances short-term needs with long-term priorities. Some of the highlights for us was that 2 out of 3 Californians will be getting a Golden State Seamless Check, I guess version 2 of that program. 5.2 billion came down for rent relief, which is sort of intended to make people whole who got behind and help out landlords who are also struggling through the pandemic. There's also $2 billion in there for overdue water utility bills. And specifically to the chamber, over $4 billion has been allocated for small businesses under the largest small business relief program in the nation. If any chamber members, businesses need help accessing that program, reach out to our office. We are here to help.
You know the name of it specifically?
I believe this is sort of filtering down right now, but I think it's going to work off of the small business COVID relief grants. So it should be just an expansion of that program, but I haven't seen the training for it yet. Specifically for Orange County, Senator Min was able to secure 34.2 million for projects. 15 million went to the Alert Wildfire Phase 2 expansion, which is a sort of really cool program where they're using infrared cameras to identify fuel sources. So that way firefighters in real time can know what the threats are. There's a 14.5 million for expansion of the Jeffrey Open Space Trail, which really connects a lot of our trails from coast to mountain. And then also 5 million for the Orange County Sustainability Decathlon, which would be a neat proof of concept for energy efficient homes. So we're happy to see the budget go through. If anyone needs any help from our office, we are here, and reach out to us.
Very good.
And just a quick thank you to you and the senator there for all the support that you gave us through some of these budget issues that were challenging for the university. But thank you very much.
Always happy, and I'll pass that on to the senator.
Rush Hill is asking for, I guess, your office phone number. So maybe you can.
Well, let me give it, and I'll figure out how to post it into a chat. But our office phone number is 949-223-5472. If you, for some reason, have had that bookmarked, I think we changed a couple months ago. So that is a new number, and we got a new office.
You must have confused Rush. He kept getting the corner grocery store.
Fair enough.
Very good. Okay, and last but certainly not least, Alexander Kim with Cotty Petrie Norris's office is up next. So we'll bring him on board, and we'll see you soon, Matt. There we go. Come on. Where'd he go? There he is.
There we go.
Okay.
How you
Morning.
doing? Morning, Steve. Thank you, Alberto. Thank you for the presentation, Jeff. Yeah, I'll start out. We had as far as activities in our district, we've had our first ever beach cleanup last weekend at Huntington Beach. It was a small one, but we had about 250 people show up. We partnered with Ocean Keepers. And just a reminder for everyone, on September 18th, in about a couple months, we're starting the planning to have be part of the International Coastal Cleanup. And that's all across all the beaches in the state of California. Well, a lot of foundations that, where the chamber is already involved with, Surf Riders Foundation, all those groups, there'll be part of that. So make sure if you want to volunteer, an outdoors, very safe event, we'll be partnering with a lot of different other elected offices and nonprofits as well for doing that. So that's a great activity during the summer and fall season. I mentioned, I think, thank you, Jeff, for answering about the question about AAA. I'm a very active member, and the good news is the California DMV, actually, you don't have to go to the California DMV to get your real ID anymore if you're a AAA member. So all 19 offices will be available starting late July. Call your offices there if you're a member, but you could actually, as long as you believe there is a special website. Just Google AAA, you'll see the instructions, but basically you upload all the documents you need to do to show proof of residency and all that information. And I believe the closest office to the Newport Chamber is Costa Mesa on Baker. So that's the one where you could.
Actually,
is that the closest one?
We have one on Birch, I think it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Birch. That's the one.
It's actually right next to your office. Are you guys still over there?
Yeah. So it's on your way to John Wayne Airport. That's a great way to get your real ID. Your deadline has been extended to May 23rd of 2023, I believe. So you got some time, but earlier the better. So for all of those business travelers, it's or if you want to access federal facilities, you'll have to have that real ID or carry your U.S. passport around. But I think most people don't do that. So and a couple other things that have come up to our offices. Well, I think I said before, the American Red Cross, there's reporting a blood shortage, and that's because we had, due to COVID and restrictions, they were able to have people donate. So I think that's something that we want to partner up with the Red Cross. So Google, you could look up online at redcross.org to find your local chapter. And they're having a variety of blood drives all around Orange County. I believe they have one closest to Newport Beach or Irvine and Costa Mesa. So you want to check it out. We'll do a couple maybe co-hosting events sometime in either August or September, and we'll keep the chamber members involved in the know of that.
We actually do blood drives here occasionally. So if you want to partner up on one, that give me a call.
Yeah, we'd love to.
And Alex,
definitely.
UCI has a blood mobile as well.
That's right. That's all right. I actually, the last time I gave blood was at the UCI Blood Drive Center. So
Zot, zot,
excellent
zot.
facility. Zot, zot, zot. Excellent facility. A thing that came up, we had a lot of calls with regarding to the, if you already heard on the news about the Veteran Cemetery at the Great Park. It's not Newport Beach related, but you know, we have a lot of veterans that are members of the chamber and living in Newport Beach. And that's a bill that was sponsored by Senator Tom Umberg. I believe it's Senate Bill 43, Veteran Cemetery. Our Assemblywoman has been always supportive of having Veterans Cemetery in Orange County. I think there was some confusion, according to Umberg's office, about the nature of his bill mandating it to be in the city of Irvine. And he said that's not the case. It's more about at the will of the Irvine City Council. So it's really because CalVets can't dictate where a cemetery can be specifically. So looks like there's a lot of, on both sides, support for either having it in Irvine or in Anaheim at the Gypsum Canyon location. So I know the several Irvine officials and all 5 county supervisors had a press conference a couple of weeks ago at the Gypsum Canyon site. So that's an ongoing discussion. I think his bill was postponed to January of next year to further continue with that discussion. So if you're involved or interested in that, please let us know. We do have a Veterans Council. Bobby McDonald, I don't know if you guys know him. He's been very active with the veterans community, with the county. And so that's something that's in a constant process. And then a couple other things, Banning Ranch, that's the privately owned land in Newport Beach that's been, had some controversy versus development, just like on Bolsa Chica. But if people don't know, it is a 385 acre parcel coastal land next to the Santa Ana River. It's a habitat for endangered species. So the Trust for Public Land currently holds an exclusive agreement for the land for $97 million, and half of that amount has been raised by Frank and Joanne Randall. They've committed $50 million of their own money to make this happen. And the California Department of Fish and Wildlife has committed $8 million to go closer to that goal. So any questions about that, please let us know if you as that is going on. So I think it's one of the
10 or $20 million laying around.
Yes, exactly. So if you go to Crystal Cove, it's the same type of thing where they want to make it into a park, but also have it as campgrounds too. So it could be actively used, and the fees generated will be used to support the park. So those are the things I have on my calendar. Any questions do you have? I could put my contact in the chat box here.
Hey, Alex,
So make sure.
let me just reiterate what I said to Matt. Thank you to the Assemblywoman for supporting UCI with
Of course.
budget issues that we were discussing. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll pass it along to the San Luis River.
Very good. Well, that concludes our presentations. I do want to also thank all the representatives or all the offices for joining us last week for our ribbon cutting over at the Crab Cooker. It's open again, so come on down to the Newport Beach Peninsula and enjoy a meal at the newly reopened Crab Cooker restaurant. We've got a number of upcoming events here in the next couple weeks. I'll just run through them real quick. Tomorrow we've got our barbecue on the barbecue by the lake, which we do 3 times in the summer, so that'll be a lot of fun. If you're a chamber member, come on down. This Sunday in the harbor, we have the annual Flight of Newport Beach. It's the longest running sailboat race in the harbor. It's, I think, over 80 years now. And so if you have like a Razor or Sabot or something, so little boats, it's mostly little boats, but there'll be over 100 boats out there competing for prizes and trophies. Our next networking luncheon is going to be at Morton's on July 21st at lunchtime. And that will be a straight networking session. And our next mixer is going to be at the Balboa Bay Resort the next night. So that's always a great time there. We're going to be in their second floor event room. Or actually, I take that back. We're in the new space that they've created from the old Waterline restaurant. That should be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that. And then our young professionals group, August 3rd, we're going to have the Navigate Olympics. So we're going to be in competition with the Olympics happening in Japan. We're going to have our own Olympics right here at the chamber offices. Or actually, I take that back, at the Bahia Corinthian Yacht Club. So that'll be a lot of fun, and looking forward to doing that. And then last but not least, we posted our Fire and Lifeguard Appreciation Dinner, which will happen this year after basically a 2-year hiatus. And that's on September 9th at the Hyatt Jamboree. So a lot of great programming coming up. I think we have a good speaker next month for our group here. I always mess up his name here because it's a little different, but I'm trying to get it here. Akumbi, let me get it, sorry. Okome Ajize is our guest at our Government Affairs Committee meeting next month. He's the head of SCAG, which is the Southern California Association of Governments. And why that's relevant is that they are primarily involved with doling out the number of homes that we have to plan for here in Newport Beach, as well as all over the county. So that's a huge issue here in town, and I'm sure he'll have a lot of good information about that. And then we're also looking forward to Wake Up Newport on August 5th. Don't have our speaker yet, but Alberto and I are working diligently to bring you a quality one, and we will. And it will be in person at the library. We'll be back at the library. So looking forward to that. That's all I have. Anything for you, Alberto?
Thanks again, Steve. Thank you, Jeff, and all the legislative staff.
Very good. All right. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.